that's outside in a faded light. Here I am again in the city with a fistful of dollars, and baby, you better believe I'm back in New York. I'm back in New York. I'm back in New York. I'm back in the New York crew, in the New York crew. Back of a Cadillac with a lady by my side, tell you where I'll be. Stop the 3rd and 43, dancing to the night. It's gonna be ecstasy. This day was made for me. I feel so good tonight. Who cares about tomorrow?
Hello and welcome to first HomeBhoys Extra, the new 2013-2014 season. As you heard things in the past, we've had Danny O'Connor, the boxer, on, we've had rappers on, we've had this, that, and one subject we've touched on a couple of times, which has been very, very popular, was the New York Cosmos. So it's been a number of months since we last caught up with Nick Laveglia to see what was happening with the New York franchise, but I'm absolutely delighted to say, live from Brooklyn, New York, I've got Nick on the line. Are you there, Nick?
Yeah, I'm here, as always.
Happy days, man. You're sounding a wee bit more, let's just say a wee bit less hungover than when I was speaking to you on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely had a few days to recover, so I'm in a lot better shape.
Very good, man. And making his debut on the HomeBhoys Extra, of course, he's no stranger to the HomeBhoys. He's called in a few times, although the show I wasn't on 2 weeks ago, I heard him call in for some hotel lobby, and I think he got about 10 seconds in, and then that was him. Although I think the boys, see when Joe McKenna's running the show, you're just left hanging like a pea, man, no? So anyway, the dude himself, the star at the temporary stand, Scott McCrory. You there, Scott?
I'm here. How you doing, gents?
Brilliant.
Thanks for having us on. Appreciated it. You're right, Joe had me hanging, didn't he?
Aye.
He made me second best to Tam Donnelly.
No, that's not good, man. That's not good. So, just a kind of wee thing that most people will know Nick, but Scott, the reason you're on tonight is because you really enjoyed the two podcasts, and you're one of hundreds of, no, into the thousands who have a big interest in this New York Cosmos story. So, just, I mean, that's why you're on tonight, isn't it?
Yeah. I listen to all this stuff on Hail Media, be it good, bad, or indifferent, whatever way you think. But your extra stuff, especially Nick, I found it really, really interesting. Everybody knows the story of the old Cosmos, and I think it's even more interesting. If you listen to Temporary Stand, I consider myself something of a football fanatic. I love football from all around the world. And I have to say, right, been to America a couple of times for a convention, been to New York just this year, been to Boston and stuff like that. I'm more interested in soccer in America and how it's going to progress and how it's going to. But the Cosmos seem different to everything else, and this is why it's grabbed my attention so much, because it feels like a proper football club, whereas I don't think the rest of them do. And I don't know, maybe I'm wrong in saying that, but that's just the gent. And everything Nick says, Nick sounds like just one of us that supports Cosmos, doesn't he? Well, he is, basically.
Yep. So, I mean, Nick, to bring the story back, the last time we spoke to you, we were kind of getting a bit giddy, getting quite excited. The Cosmos were reportedly, well, they were not reportedly, they were certainly looking at different locations in New York, and different places have been picked out, and there was even protests against the stadium getting built and stuff like that. So, I mean, we were really excited that the Cosmos were back, because we knew they were going into the NASL. That had just been announced at the time. But we genuinely thought that would just be a stepping stone. I mean, I know you still had your reservations about things, obviously, but for likes of myself, I just thought it was an automatic stepping stone that the Cosmos were bound to be granted this new spot in MLS that was opening up. They wanted a team in New York to rival the Red Bulls, and everybody just thought it's bound to be the Cosmos, the story, an iconic team. And everybody was excited. The Borough Boys had been wanting, you and your team had been wanting towards this for a long, long time, and it seemed to be heading in the right direction. So, if you can sort of bring us to where we were then to now in a sort of brief summary, and then we'll cover a few points. And I know Scott's got quite a few questions that will probably go off in different tangents, but such as it is, that's just the way we run things here. So Nick, I mean, take us back.
Yeah, so I've always had to be cautious, but there was a great feeling that eventually would be the Cosmos that would win this next team in MLS. But there were a lot of rumors flying around that the Cosmos ownership had a different business plan than the MLS allows for. And it's like what Scott mentioned before, the Cosmos wanted to build, this proper club. And it's not that they don't want to go in MLS, and I still think they're open to it, but they don't like the structure that MLS has right now, which is that whole single entity, typical American sports franchises. Limited to the freedom. There's a hard salary cap. You can only bring in 3 specialized players, and the Cosmos wanted to build a more proper club. They want to build an academy. They want to engage in transfer talks, as they did with Marco Senna, and not have to go through the league to sign a player. And they just weren't fans of the MLS structure, where our second division NASL is more of a football structure, as you know it. Where it's just run your club day to day. If you fold, you fold. And so they actually decided they wanted to take that route because they feel they could put money towards the team, put money towards the product on the field, and Major League Soccer wanted to charge them $100 million just for a buy-in to the league. And their stance was the $100 million could be used towards players, towards infrastructure and academies and training facilities, as opposed to just saying, okay, I'm in a league. So there's a lot of rumors that these conversations between MLS and the Cosmos did cause friction because they had 2 different business plans, and they went their separate ways. It seems that they went their separate ways kind of respectfully, but I'm sure there is still tension. And the MLS decided to go with this Man City group, and they partnered with our old friends Harper, the New York Yankees.
So, wait, Nick. So let me stop you there then before we go any further, because I was under the impression it was just a case of the Man City franchise was picked before the Cosmos, but you're sort of saying here that the Cosmos kind of decided to turn their back a wee bit on MLS. And is that the case, or is it were they trying to play hardball and they didn't realise this Man City thing was going to come to fruition? I mean, I'm a wee bit confused with that, to be honest.
No, that's no one really knows for sure what exactly happened. I mean, there's rumors that MLS chose the Man City team because of the money they had. They were willing to pay $100 million. No one really knows for sure. They said they have been talking. Rumors I've heard is that the Cosmos did tell the MLS that we want a more open structure. because let's face it, the Cosmos have a globalized brand. That's the reason I'm sitting here talking to two gentlemen from Glasgow right now about the team. They're recognized all over the world, and the Cosmos felt that, like, well, if you want our brand in your league, why are we going to pay you $100 million? And then their outlook is, see, when you're in MLS, you buy into the league, so any revenue you make off of your logo, you have to share with the other 19 owners of the league. Mm-hmm. So that's pretty much saying, if it was over in Scotland, that look how powerful Celtic is, but they would have to share any wealth they have with
revenue share. Yeah,
they would share any. Now, you say you have to share with Ross County, and how much more money does Celtic make than them? And because they have a more powerful brand, because they've built it over years through history, through great teams. And, the Cosmos like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, we want to keep as much revenue as we can because our club generates it. And I think that had a lot to do with it. And, no one knows for sure what happened. And a lot of people feel that the Man City thing was chosen by MLS to spite the New York Cosmos. And some people, think the Cosmos turned their back on MLS. But no one really knows 100% for sure what happened in those meeting rooms.
Scott?
Well, it was just this morning when I was reading stuff, and it was a guy we were talking about just off air there. The chairman's a fella called Seamus O'Brien. I take it for granted he's Irish. And he's so this guy's came from World Sports Group. Nicky, I'll let you kind of go on about him in a minute. But the interview I read was from a year ago, and he was saying exactly what you were saying now. He was getting in kind of going, we'd like to maybe go to the MLS. However, does the MLS really suit what we're aiming for? I mean, at that point, the Dumbro, I think they've got Night now, they've got Fly Emirates. Yep. I mean, they're getting big sponsorship deals. And as you say, is any big business willing to get away? So I don't know. What I took Harper was that I think Seamus O'Brien's kind of went, right, well, we can make you a lot of money, so you've got to play ball with us. And just as you say, they've kind of done it to spite them. Know what I mean? That's the way I read it anyway. I mean,
because automatically, we've discussed this before, automatically, if the Cosmos went in to the MLS, they're going to have probably the highest revenue almost overnight, because they already are a worldwide brand. You can go into any sports shop in any city in Europe and buy a Cosmos jersey right now. There's 3 or 4 shops in Drogheda that sell Cosmos gear. It's maybe the old Umbro stuff and that, and it's getting sold off cheap, but it's still there. It's still a well-known worldwide brand. And I'll tell you now, there's no other American soccer jerseys getting sold in Drogheda, not even LA Galaxy. So you can see the sort of point of view there. I think maybe though, did they think, Nicky, do you think maybe there was a wee bit they would sort of, because they knew the revenue they could bring to MLS, did they think they could maybe play hardball with the commissioner and think, well, maybe we can sort of not get our own way, but change things a wee bit because what we bring to the table, and they maybe called their bluff a wee bit?
Yeah, I think that might have been it. And the other key piece to that was the stadium thing. With that Queen Stadium that fell through, the Cosmos felt, they hired Eric Stover as their chief officer, the guy who pretty much runs the club. And he said he built the stadium out in Jersey. He's looked at sites in New York, and he's told me straight out, personally, he's like, I don't think Queens can happen. He goes, I think logistically the ground isn't made for a stadium. He goes, there's going to be a fight. He goes, if it can happen, it's 10 years down the road, and we want to go now. And they chose a plot of land that MLS once looked at, and it was known that this plot of land was a lot easier to get a stadium done because it's on this specialized land that something called the Empire State Development Committee runs, and there's no community really involvement. You submit a bid, and the governor and his team chooses who wins, and they don't really get, in Queens you would have to go through community meetings and this and that, and it is a whole at least 9-month process from the start to even think about putting a shovel in the ground. Where this is, you submit a bid, you get selected, you put a shovel in the ground, and there's no real community involvement. Even though there are going to be protests, and maybe some of the leaders would listen to their people. I mean, most politicians should, but it's a lot easier of a path. And the Cosmos went there, and they decided this is our place, and they felt that place was better for them because it also allows them, similar to what you see in Celtic Park now, they're doing the redevelopment around the grounds, and that's going to bring in a lot more money for the club. And at Belmont, the Cosmos would be able not only to put a stadium, but to put retail shops in, and restaurants and hotels, and it's right next door to the Belmont racetrack, which has the big race every year. So there's a lot more opportunity for the team to make an investment and get a return on it at Belmont, where MLS's plan in Flushing Meadow Park was you're getting this small 13-acre spot of land, and all you could build on it is a stadium. And they felt that maybe just that's oh my goodness, that was a great goal. Sorry, I'm watching a match. Maybe just that's not the good business plan, because with just a stadium in American soccer, and I can say this as an American soccer fan, I mean, with baseball, football, hockey, basketball, I mean, there's a good chance you won't make money on it. So they want the development around it to help them make money on maybe those midweek games that won't draw nearly as good. And that was another fight that was going on between the two, was the stadium. And the funny story is when the Manchester City and the Yankees announcement was made, that very day there was a strong rumor that on the next day the Queens Coalition, who was fighting the stadium, was going to come out what was going to be perceived as the final nail in the coffin of the Queens soccer stadium. And there were rumors going around the internet that Queens is dead. MLS is not getting a stadium in Queens. And MLS said, you need a stadium before you could get a team. And that was the whole thing they've told us for so long, and even to the Cosmos. And, now on this day, they announce a team with two partners to play in a baseball stadium on the same day or the same week, pretty much, that there was supposed to be a press conference, pretty much putting the nail in the coffin of the Queens MLS stadium. And so there's a lot of people feeling that New York City FC announcement was seen as a game of cards played by MLS against the Cosmos. So there's still a lot of gray area of what exactly went down.
So where exactly are New York FC going to play?
Castle Grayskull? Yankee Stadium.
They're going to play in Yankee Stadium, but that surely isn't I never even heard this. As you can tell, I do absolutely no preparation for anything.
Yep.
But it's better because I feel I learn more just hearing it straight through the horse's mouth. So, is that something they're going in temporarily to go to Yankee Stadium while they're getting a purpose-built stadium built elsewhere? Yep. But because that doesn't sound like really viable long term.
No, Yankee Stadium. Well, first of all, it hasn't been official Yankee Stadium. A couple weeks ago, actually around the baseball All-Star game, Maya Bloomberg did say that the team would play in Yankee Stadium, and then that link was quickly taken off his website. I think it was prematurely stated. But the strong rumors are that they would play in Yankee Stadium until a permanent home is built. But as we know, just myself and Frankie and our friend Leo know from years of talking to city people, is building a stadium in the city is a challenge. Not that it can't be done, but with the community backlash, you just can't say, I want to build a stadium, put a plan in, and 2 months later start building it. It's a process, and in some cases it's a 3-4 year process. So that's why a lot of people feel this isn't viable, because, Harper, as you know, yes, the two teams they play the same season. They play over the summer. And they can exist. In Washington, a baseball team and a Major League Soccer team existed in the same stadium. But this isn't the Washington Nationals. This is the New York Yankees. This is the flagship, team in American baseball. And this is a $1.6 billion stadium built for baseball. This is a fan base that pays a lot of money for season tickets. And now they're going to go to their baseball ground and see the outfield grass ripped up because of what's called soccer divots. And like I said one day, Harper, all it takes is, Robinson Cano to backtrack on a fly ball, trip over a soccer divot, break his ankle, and be out for 6 months. What happens then?
Oh man, that's meltdown. That is meltdown material if that happens. Right. To me, from the Man City thing, it didn't come quite out of the blue, because we had heard rumours about a Manchester City group being involved, maybe, but wasn't it like months and months and months beforehand? It was only a few months beforehand, and it seems to me, all the stuff, the Cosmos were doing everything the right way. They were looking at sites, just saying Belmont Park and stuff like that, and Flush Meadows and everything. And it seems to me the Man City thing just came out, not out the blue, but it seems there wasn't a lot of due process done with this bid. And they're just like, we'll just stick them in Yankee Stadium and then we'll find them somewhere to play. And it all seems a bit rushed. But there's no plan round about it, if you know what I mean. They still never heard. I mean, there was a big announcement at the time on Sky, Man City and the Yankees. I mean, to me, that's just two evil empires coming together. But I mean, there's been nothing really since, like.
There's a lot of people around here. See, a lot of the soccer writers, they're reporting the news. And the news, look, I don't want to sound like, Cosmos rah-rah, so I have to say, look, the news of these two teams coming together has a lot of potential. I mean, there's a lot of money involved, and you're branding with the Yankees, who have a lot of power in the city. So there is a lot of potential for excitement around, that news. But you said the word rushed, and I know many of, lower-level soccer writers that aren't afraid to really, call out what's going on. And rushed is a word I've heard a lot. It does seem very rushed. And that's why a lot of people speculate it was rushed because they lost the Queen Stadium. And, they didn't want to... And people were starting to get really excited about the Cosmos in second division. So, yeah, I mean, it seems rushed, but there still is the potential that could be successful because there is a lot of money involved there. There's a lot of money and power there. And, the Cosmos, you said about doing things the right way, they absolutely have. But they are taking a huge gamble in the second division. There's no promotion relegation in the United States. There's, there is a cup. I mean, that's it. You could win your cup and you gain entry into our region's Champions League, which is what they're striving for. But there's no promotion relegation. And the second division, as fun as it is, it's a lot lesser crowds as any second division is, and they play on AstroTurf, so it's hard to attract the star because nobody wants to play on turf. You want to play on grass. A couple of teams play in secondary stadiums, whether it be a college campus stadium or, there's one team in Virginia that's doing it at a baseball stadium that they're transferring in. So there's a lot of questions. It's definitely a big gamble by the Cosmos, but they want to try to help grow the second division. And, who knows what they'll do. Maybe they'll try to compete with MLS. Maybe they'll try to force hand and see if they could get a promotion relegation, or maybe like an American League, National League baseball type thing where the two leagues pick a champion and then those two champions, face off for the quote-unquote national championship.
Yeah.
There's a lot of potential opportunity, but it really all depends on how successful the second division can become. And the Cosmos want to help grow that, and that sounds great. It sounds like the right thing to do, but it also is a huge gamble, and it's definitely not they're definitely not certain to succeed.
Right, well, let's take the story back a wee bit first, though, before we kind of get to the development of the NSL and the season starting for the Cosmos. Like the day the Man City Yankee collaboration was announced. I mean, what was the day after, if you like? What was the? Because there was a sort of excitement building up. Because it's been a kind of underground movement, the Cosmos, the last few years. Obviously, you know that better than anybody.
Yep.
The supporters group. So there was an excitement building up in the city, and there was a lot of support for fans, the other clubs and everything. I know you've got a good relationship with the St. Pauli boys in New York and stuff like that. So I mean, how was the reaction been like around about the time when the Man City Yankee stuff was announced? Both by like, obviously your group's not going to be too happy with it, but I mean, general other soccer fans that you speak to, and how did the media react to this? And I mean, was there shock? Because I mean, I was absolutely, I don't know about you, Scott, but I was absolutely gobsmacked when I heard the announcement, to be honest with you. Like,
yeah, it was a lot. It was very shocking to a lot. See, and it was really hard on our group because the Borough Boys were always about a second MLS team. When we started our mission, NASL didn't even exist yet. They only started 3 years ago. We've been around 5-6 years. Mm-hmm. And we were trying to get an MLS team before even the Cosmos came back in the picture. So when the Cosmos came back in the picture, we noticed that, like, when me and Frankie were out in the pub saying, hey, we want an MLS team, no one really cared. But when me and Frankie went out pubs and said, hey, the Cosmos want to come back, more New Yorkers really cared. And the power of the Cosmos really stuck to me, because in the beginning I was skeptical about bringing back the Cosmos and this and that. And then, just talking to people and seeing how much, I was very young, my brother supported the old Cosmos, but seeing how much that name still meant to so many people around my city, I started realizing, like, wow, this is something this city would really get behind again. And as a guy, like Scott, I love football. I watch all over the world. I watch EPL, the SPL, I watch my Italian leagues. If I'm up at night, I'll watch the Australian league. I mean, I just love watching. I'm watching a game right now. I love it. And I wanted to see it succeed in my city. And I really started to see that it not only could succeed with any team, but it would be even better with a team like the Cosmos because it means something to the city. There's a history. There's a connection. And so there's a lot of fans out there that if the Cosmos were not selected to MLS and the Cosmos folded, they wouldn't go to an MLS team. They just wanted to see the Cosmos. So a lot of people were very upset. And, our group especially, who in the beginning wanted an MLS team, and now, then halfway through we realized, like, not only do we want an MLS team, we want this team to mean something to our city. We want it to be an identity of a New Yorker. And when we were telling the MLS, like, you need this team to be the Cosmos. New Yorkers want this. We're out in the streets. You could pay all the marketing agency in the world all the money you want, but we're talking to real born and bred New Yorkers in Queens and Brooklyn, and this is what they want. And when they turn around and kind of ignore that for whatever reason, maybe the Cosmos also didn't help the matter, but they turned around and went after the top dollar. A lot of fans got very disgusted. We heard a lot of heat, but we turned around to MLS and said, we know we want an MLS team, but we're going to stay with the New York team that we feel better identifies New Yorkers. So good luck. And, a lot of people frown down upon us because, like, oh, you changed your mission. You were all about MLS. Now you don't care. Now you want the Cosmos. Yeah, we did that. We're sorry. We do what any fan would do. Fans make mistakes. Fans do what they want to do, but we want a New York team that means something.
I mean, you're right, Nicky, because we discussed this briefly on the Metsbhoys podcast the other night, and Jason was on, and Jason's quite passionate about stuff like this. And I mean, Scott, to us, football, it's all about your history. It's one of the most important things of being a Celtic fan is your history. I mean, if you think about the podcast the Lost Boys are doing at the minute, I mean, it's just phenomenal stuff. I mean, when I first moved to Drogheda, I hadn't even heard of Drogheda United. But one of the first things I done was, I knew I was going to be going to their games because I was living in the town. One of the first things I done was I got a loan of a book from one of the boys in my work telling me about their history. Because that's what football is to the majority of fans. I think it's the romance of the team, it's the history and all that kind of stuff that goes with it. So, I mean, we always knew about the Cosmos, Scott.
Aye, definitely. I mean,
you can relate to what Nicky was saying there. That's what I'm saying, like, no?
No. I agree. Right, I wouldn't go as far as what you were saying about the history and stuff, because I always feel clubs could make their own history. Mm-hmm. However, when you've got something as good as what the Cosmo has, then it was something. It's actually a question I've wrote down. And it basically just exactly what Nicky was saying there. Why would the MLS really go for something? They have basically chased the money. I mean, Cosmos are already sitting there with a fan group ready to rock and roll. So you've already got a base there, a base to start. To me, it doesn't make any sense to kind of go with something and kind of hope that they play. I mean, look how many teams have already went tits up in the MLS. I mean, there's a whole load of them. They played them. There's no a team in Miami, is there, Nicky?
No, that's actually trying to be built right now with David Beckham. But an hour north of Miami is the Fort Lauderdale Strikers, who play in NASL.
Who you played in Saturday?
Right, and if you look into it, like, the most successful teams in terms of, like, attendance and interest in MLS are in the Pacific Northwest: the Seattle Sounders, the Portland Timbers, the Vancouver Whitecaps. All those teams played in the 1970s NASL. The reason is that there is the history there. Now, I said this the other day, to be fair, it's like, everybody always talks about, obviously, the history in say, the SPL or the EPL. That's been around for 100 years. Is that soccer in this country never really had a structure. It was always, on and off. So this is the strongest league I think we've had in a very long time, the MLS. And the game today is at its strongest point than I could ever remember, ever. Because not only is it just top leagues, you start to see academies pop up, etc. So we're still writing our soccer history. So You know, there are some teams that might have started 10 years ago that in 20 years could have built a nice little history and really mean something to their towns. You know, like in Colorado or in Kansas City. Like what's happening in Kansas City is actually, you know, they're really starting to connect with that team, that city, over the past 15 years. So it is possible these teams could really build their own history. We're still in a very premature state. But when you have a history and you want to attract one of the major markets, and this major market is behind its history, you know, and that's the Cosmos, you would think that's the way they want it to go. Now, luckily for the Cosmos, they chose Man City and the Yankees. New York City is actually a huge EPL town. Just this past week, I saw trains, subway cars, promoting the EPL on NBC, and there was a Manchester United logo on one car and a City on the other car, and they're like, which color Manchester are you? Like, I mean, this city loves the EPL. Bars are packed at 11 in the morning. And what they did is choose an EPL team that loads of fans can't stand. The biggest EPL team supported in the city is Manchester United. They've just alienated thousands of potential fans because they're not going to go root for a team that's going to be owned by Manchester City. And from what everything it looks like, while they still haven't announced anything, there's going to be some kind of sky blue element in there. You know, everybody sees this already as Man City, you know, America, and it kind of disgusts people. You know, so say goodbye to United fans. Probably say goodbye to Liverpool supporters, Arsenal supporters. We've already had West Ham supporters out at the game last week. They're like, I'm not going to support anything owned by Man City. And then you alienate the Met fans in the city because they won't root for anything related to the Yankees.
Definitely, aye. See the thing as well, I mean, when you talk about the history, the Cosmos still have a living history. They've got Pele, they've got Carlos Alberto. They were there last week at the game. I mean, that's guys that MLS have missed a trick here, in my opinion. Like, a massive, massive marketing tool there. Where, look at the massive South American support in New York. Get these guys from Brazil in promoting the Cosmos and the MLS in New York City. It's worldwide news.
I think Nicky's kind of on the ball, and I think the clubs are kind of on the ball because I think that they've actually been very clever going into that the NASL because of the reasons Nicky already says. I mean, it's a free market. They can basically go and sign all these top names. You know, I mean, you think about it. See, when you heard Marcos Senna had went to Cosmos, I was shocked. Everybody knows who Marcos Senna is, a Brazilian guy who played for Spain and won the European Championships. Dear God, and he's turning out in here. So they've caught people's imagination with that. You add another 2 or 3. Then people are still talking about Cosmos, and they're kind of going, well, and it's a free market, and they're building a brand, and if they're doing it's a lesser league, but people are still going to be talking about them. You know yourself, people will always be talking about them. Yep. But they can go sign guys, and they've still got Cantona, they've got Kobe Jones, who was an American hero. You've got so I mean, am I right, Nicky? There's an ex-player. He's a commentator in America. Is that right? What's the guy's name? What's the guy's name?
Shep Messing.
Shep Messing. Very guy. So they're causing waves, and I don't know. I mean, am I not right in thinking the NASL has got high hopes of like expanding and stuff and making that sell stronger? So I don't know. I don't see. I can see where they came from to an extent.
We were speaking about this on Metsbhoys the other night, and Jason actually came up with it, and I'd never thought of it before. It'd be great if the NSL could become, you know how they have the 2 divisions in the American football, and they come together and have the Super Bowl, and then they have the World Series and the baseball. You know, it's 2, like the American League and National League. It'd be great if the MLS and the NASL wasn't seen so much as a second division, and they could come up and they could be a rival league, if you know what I mean. And then they come together, and I mean, Americans love all that at the end, the playoffs, and I mean, that is American sports, and those 2 divisions come and play off in the end.
But see, if you look at the MLS, where it started for as well, there's more and more designated players, isn't there? I mean, at first you were kind of only get 1, now you can get 3 and 3 and 4, so you can see that it's kind of going that way anyway, so you don't know, maybe it's right to hold off just now, but I agree with what you're saying. I mean, the MLS have now kind of integrated the reserve team in lower league American football as well, Nick, haven't they?
Yep. With the USL, And I think there's now a rule in place that an MLS team has to get an affiliate in USL, and it's kind of where they send their reserves to play. And they either affiliate with a club that already exists, or they create a similar to like what Barcelona has, and I think La Liga B or whatever. Just create New York Red Bull B and put them in this league, and it's kind of like a reserves league almost.
So as much as the MLS might, to us it certainly sounds alien. It's basically an NFL and stuff like that. It's got the draft. It's got stuff that's alien to us. I can see it turning. There's a fella. What's the name of the American? Oh, bloody hell. Wheelock. Is it Andy Wheelock or? I can't. He's an American commentator.
Okay.
He's on a world phone-in over here on the BBC every Saturday morning at 2 o'clock in the morning, something ridiculous. And he talks very highly. He's a very pro MLS. He's always talking it up, and he's always saying which standard it's at just now. And he's saying that you can see it turning as if they kind of want to get it even played at the same time as the rest of European leagues, so that when the transfer windows happen, it's no such a big thing,
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep.
I mean, you can see it in the future. I don't. When you actually take a wee step back, Cosmos maybe playing this a wee bit more clever than people think.
Mm-hmm.
There could be, and look, it is still a lot to be built over here. And yes, maybe it could be an American League, National League type venture. Maybe it could be promotion, relegation down the way. But the true fact of the matter is, none of this could be complete without the NASL strengthening, because right now it's not very strong. And that's what they were hoping the Cosmos would do, is strengthen that league in one way or the other. See, the Cosmos come in with a very strong backing, solid ownership. They need about 10 more teams in NASL similar with a very strong backing too. They need to get up to near 20 clubs. And they need to generate money. They need to get a good TV deal. So no matter what they do decide in the future, they're financially able to do it. Right now it's just definitely not ready. It's just it is kind of exciting because for me especially, for my group choosing what it chose, we're almost we feel like we're really helping the second division grow. Like we want to stay in what we believe in. We're not just we want an MLS team, so we have to go root for this $100 million team owned by Sheikh Mansour, and then with the Yankees involved to help them pretty much get a stadium. Because from what I understand, the Yankees are going to have no say in the actual football team. They're just there to help them try to build a stadium and give them a place to play for now.
Yeah. Nicky, when you said there though, just I want to bring you back quick because I'll forget. When you're saying about there's no promotion and relegation, I mean, I know why, but I mean, there'll be a lot of people listening to this saying, well why is there no promotion and relegation if you've got a second division there? And it's because, basically what you said about buying into the league, the money that's involved, you're not just going to be relegated.
Absolutely. And first of all, promotion relegation is completely alien to American sports. It doesn't exist. And if you're going to try to get the mainstream American sport fan, they're not as into promotion relegation. Now, I urge them to sit down and, we get a lot of the England games over here, and you watch the championship playoffs with that Watford game last year at the very end. It was a missed penalty. That's what it's about. And I'm sure you could lure people into that, the romanticism of it. But the real fact of the matter is, and this is fair play to MLS, it's been around a while. And the current commissioner has done a great job building the league to what it is today. And there's been a lot of families that have paid a lot of money through very difficult times. The league almost folded maybe 10, 15 years ago. And a lot of people spent a lot of their earned money and lost money on the league to keep it afloat. So now the league might turn around and maybe is making a profit. And maybe, with these expansion fees, some of these owners are getting a share of their money back. So now you can't just turn around and say, okay, now that we did all that and you put all that money in, now there's a chance that you could get relegated, go into second division. And in second division in America, that just could be a death blow. Mm-hmm. Because, unlike the championship, which might have a TV deal and is very strong footing and still probably draws 9, 10 to 15,000 people to some teams, second division America, the NASL before the Cosmos, they normally draw about 3,000 to 5,000 fans a game. They have no TV deal. They, local TV deals. Some of the clubs have, but most of the games are streamed online. So it's a huge drop off there might not be enough money around in this United States soccer kitty to do payments like, relegation payments, parachute payments, whatever they're called. It's kind of hard to tell those owners that, yeah, you could be relegated, and if you do get relegated, you're probably going to wind up folding. So it really, I understand why there's no promotion relegation right now. Could it happen? Yeah, if the second division truly comes and makes its own money, gets its own TV deals, and those owners realize that, all right, if I do drop down to second division, I still have a chance to make some money, build the team back up, and get back to the top division. But right now, I don't know that vision is there.
Yeah.
They also have, you're quite right in there. There was something that, when I was looking back for some questions for the night, that the structure, just as Nick says, the NASL is kind of weak now. You basically, with the New York team, that brings up the MLS to 20 teams. Mm-hmm. The NASL has only got 8 teams. I think it's expanding up to 12 next year, 2014, because there's already one team that's kind of took a year out, which was strange, and I think there's another 2 teams adding in the following year. So you can see it's trying to get stronger. I think by 2018 they're trying to grow to 20 temes.
Yes.
So there is a look ahead. As Nick says, is it going to hit that? Is it going to hit the same problems that the old league had? Maybe it grows too fast, too quickly.
But it seems to me that everything's kind of took a different direction for me tonight. A lot of new information's coming to me, and it's maybe just seemed to me at the minute that the Cosmos have become the flagship for the NASL, and maybe that is something that they really did decide to do, and they took this route where, well, we're going to go into this league where we can make transfers a more sort of structure to what we're used to here in Europe. And maybe this was their choice, and this is the vision, and they're taking a gamble on that. To be honest, they have got that sort of underground movement that's been behind them, Nick and his boys, for a lot of years. And to me personally, and I'm not just saying this is the reason I'm a Mets fan. Like, if I was in New York City, I couldn't support the Red Bulls just for the fact that they're called the Red Bulls. That whole thing, I can't get my head around that, right? And this, a franchise coming out of Man City and the Yankees, just as a football fan, to me, I'd have to go with underdog. And knowing that there's going to be good crowds anyway, and there's going to be a good atmosphere, and it's a sort of underground movement, that's good enough for me, even without the sort of Cosmos history. And I think as Nicky says, like, with the amount of soccer fans there is in New York, you're going to get a lot of people who'll buy into that, as long as it's entertaining and the atmosphere is good. With the Borough Boys have got to create that sort of outers group, and they're going to make it something that's an entertaining day out, something worth going to. I can see it taking off, but my biggest problem would be, my biggest worry would be, I don't know that the other clubs can generate the same sort of thing. It's one thing having that in New York City, because the Cosmos do have that pass, and there will be people buying it. But can these other teams that are going to come into the NASL strive to be the size of the Cosmos? If you know where I'm going with that, like, that's a big issue, like, for me, a big worry.
Of course, mate, but the thing Nicky's going to be delighted with right for the off is that he's now watching his team play.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a number one aim. It doesn't matter where they are. They're playing professional. They're playing in the league. Surely that must be the buzz.
Yeah, and then I'll tell you what, they marked it as a sellout the other day. Over almost 12,000 people, and there was some empty seats around, but I guess they sold all the tickets, which is what they strive for. And the atmosphere was really good. I mean, I talked to a lot of people after the game, and they're like, yeah, the atmosphere was great. I see posts on Facebook and Twitter like, yeah, I checked it out and I'm sold. I'm coming back. And that's what they wanted to strive. And when whether it was us helping along with their singing and cheering behind the goal, or whether it was just the whole atmosphere, and the last minute win doesn't hurt either. But so yeah, no, look, there's a lot of concern, Harper, about, like, will the other teams do it? And you know what? It's up to the other owners to decide that. Like, all right, now we have the Cosmos in, and they're obviously going to go out and pay some money to get some players in. And put their team in position to win not only the league but the domestic cup too. You know, where they will face off against MLS teams, and they're going to try to, from the second division, win that cup and go into the Regions Champions League. And you know, it's up to the other owners in that league to say, what am I in this for? Am I in this just for to own a sport franchise, or do I want to win? And maybe it behooves some of them to either spend some money on players, do better marketing, and get people out to their game, or, you know, find another partner that could help them along. Now, there are some teams, I mean, San Antonio just built a beautiful new stadium for their NASL team, and they draw very well. The Tampa Bay Rowdies, I think, draw a very good crowd too down in Tampa Bay. They have a large history from the 70s as well. The new team, or Indianapolis, is coming in. From what I understand, already has 4,000 season ticket holders, and this is like a year and a half before they even kick a ball. So
the manager's Jürgen Sommer, a very well-known American.
Right. So yeah, there's some ownership groups coming in now, and you know, they keep saying that they're talking to even better ownership groups that might, you know, raise the profile of the league, which would help.
You know what it needs, man? It needs rivalries.
Yep.
Every football league and every team needs a rival, like a rival to hate, if you like. I mean, baseball's got it, ice hockey's got it. Even, I mean, it's not just soccer. I'm saying American sports have that. Fans buy into rivalries. Like, I mean, is there natural rivalries in there in the NSL?
There's some. I mean, especially in Florida, because they just added Jacksonville, and they have 3 teams in Florida now, which is a pretty big state. They'll have a Miami team, a Tampa Bay team, and a Jacksonville team, and then that's, you know, a couple-hour drive. There's a good rivalry. Unfortunately for us, the closest team will be Virginia, which is about a 4 or 5 hour drive, which isn't bad. But after that, there's not much very close. It's all a plane ride. And that one team that took a year off was the Puerto Rico Islanders, and that's one plane ride we all want to kind of take. You know, we were all excited, like, oh, let's go down to Puerto Rico for a long weekend, lay on the beach, go watch some football. But yeah, no, I mean, they are trying to build some rivals. They're doing that, but they're also hitting the secondary markets that actually used to be rumored to MLS that maybe they could put a team there. So they're strategically picking their markets to larger size markets. Yeah, maybe they're not all New York, LA, but medium-sized markets that maybe they could generate some good fan base from, some TV revenue or something.
Yeah.
Nicky, I'm going to take you back a wee bit. Just some you said earlier on, and I had a wee question about it anyway. You said the stadium in Queens went by the wayside, right? As I say, I was looking about in Belmont Park. Is that a goer? The
Belmont Park, yeah, that's the stadium plan the Cosmos put in.
Yeah. Is that a goer?
No, well, we're still waiting. They were supposed to make a decision by June, but politics, things get delayed. There's rumors around that a decision is actually coming soon, but, you know, it's more just a wait, and we don't know. We had an event in July, and Eric Stova came and he spoke to us, and that, of course, was one of the questions. And he goes, all they're telling us is that there's a couple of bids in for that land. And of the bids, theirs is probably the most attractive because it's all privately funded.
Yeah.
It includes retail, which generates a lot of revenue for the local community because, you know, taxes, etc. And it might bring people out because there'll be hotels, there'll be restaurants, there'll be bars, there'll be a destination for maybe some people. Like, hey, let's go check out a race at Belmont and then go grab some dinner or some drinks. You know, so they, from what we understand, those who make the decision are very happy with the plan. They think it's very good. There is some, you know, opposition, as there's always going to be. And, you know, I don't think it's huge opposition, but there is opposition. Could it be the politician trying to get, you know, their say in the project? Who knows? But there is some opposition, but from what we understand, that their plan is looked on very favorably, and, you know, it's just a matter of yay or nay. And if it gets a yay, I think it goes through one final approval. They just, like, you know, I think they do like that financial background check or whatever. And if once that approval's in place, it's bring your trucks in and start digging. And from what I understand, the Cosmos have their construction crews ready. Ready to go. Yeah, they have the crews ready to go. So it's just a matter of yay or nay, and we're hoping that comes sooner. Let me tell you, if that could happen this month, generate the buzz of them booting off, I mean, it really would help fans maybe even make a further investment and get more season tickets.
It's about a 25 all-seater stadium, isn't it?
Yeah, it would be a 25,000 seat stadium.
Just for anybody listening, you can have a wee look at www.cosmosstadium.com. That's where I found my information.
Yeah, and it is a beautiful plan. It really is. The only thing I will say about the plan is that it's not on public transportation. It is not on a subway, so it is a bit. That is one of the concerns about it. That Long Island Railroad does go out there, and there's local buses, but it's not on a subway. And that was the key for a lot of people. They want a stadium on a subway because people like taking a subway, getting off, coming back, and it's a $2.50 ride. But this stadium is pretty much right off major highways, has Long Island Railroad nearby, and technically the lot of land the stadium would sit in is half in Queens. So we still got that going for us.
So Nicky, tell people who are listening, because we've danced around the borough a wee bit, talking about 12,000 crowds, and the opening game was at the weekend there. Where exactly are the Cosmos right now in New York City? Where are they playing?
They're playing in Hofstra University in Long Island. They're not playing in New York City. They're playing about, I would say a 20-minute drive from the Queens border. Out in Hofstra University. It's a beautiful, beautiful campus. It's actually pretty much right next door to where the New York Islanders hockey team plays. Right. That's where they are for now. And I will say that they did a very good job of decorating around the stadium with the green and white. But, it is a little unattractive when you see big Hofstra on the turf. But I guess that's what we got to deal with until the stadium gets approved.
Sorry, somebody's sending me a message here thinking that HomeBhoys is on. So Nicky, bring us right up to date then. I mean, you had the opening day. I mean, as you say, you were knackered all weekend, but what's been the build-up for the last month or so, even, I suppose, with the Borough Boys? Give us a wee quick sort of rundown of the Borough Boys again, the supporters group, and bring us right up to the present day, to the first game of the season. I mean, how it felt to finally see that kick off and all that sort of stuff. I mean, bring us through, say, the last few weeks.
Yeah, it's been pretty surreal. I mean, after we made our statement and said, okay, no matter what, we're staying with the Cosmos, we just jumped right into it and started planning for this first game. We had a couple events to help raise membership for those interested in the Cosmos that want to be a part of the fan movement. But it's not just about standing behind the goal, singing and jumping. We're trying to build a culture around the club. Similar. It's almost like a family. They always say the Celtic family. We try to build something like that. Like, we want to have events where everybody comes out, and once you're a Cosmos fan, you're part of this whole thing. So we're trying to build that. But for the actual game, we've been doing membership drives, getting ready. Painted a big banner this weekend to pay homage because they had Pele in the crowd and Alberto. But the one guy who wasn't was Giorgio Canaglia, who passed away about a year ago. Yeah. So we painted a big banner with Canaglia on it, to pay homage to him. We did that, making up some banners to hang on the section and give it the best green and white feeling you could give it when the stadium is actually blue, which I think it looks better in green and white. But
so do we,
as most do. So we've been doing. It's been really exciting, and I think last week it was really exciting when I saw the first rumored lineup. This is what the lineup Saturday could look like. And after years of doing this, I'm like sitting there looking at a 4-3-3, thinking, all right, how does this look? Do I like this guy? Do I like this fullback? And I was like, this. It was really surreal, and it's been very exciting. And everybody's been you could see it that day. The day I got out to the stadium early to set up some banners. And
that's what I want to hear, man. Take me to opening day. Like, it's like opening day. We had the podcast opening day of the baseball, and you and Frankie described when you left your house and the crack on the subway and all this sort of stuff, man. Give us opening day, the Cosmos.
Yeah, well, I got out to the stadium very early to set up the section with a couple other guys, but after that I walked over. There's a pub literally like 100 feet from the stadium, so I walked over there. And there was a buzz, and there was people talking, introducing themselves. Because these are people who are like, look, I'm a season ticket holder. I'm so-and-so. Nice to meet you. People just wanting to meet other Cosmos fans out there. And, the bus came from the city, and they came running into the bar singing. There was singing and dancing and drinking, and there was just definitely the fans were ready to go. I mean, the fans just wanted to explode.
Few Celtic type songs I heard.
Yeah, I would say half our songs are stolen from the Green Brigade. I do apologize, but there's definitely a lot of excitement, and there was a buzz, and people. I walked around. They had a fan fest for the kids, and just walking around the stadium, the whole stadium, the outline was green and white, and it just. You could tell, and when I was in the stadium earlier, I ran over to the store before they opened the gates, and I walked into the store and I bought my jersey because the jerseys only came on sale yesterday. And so I walked in, I went to the jersey, and the girl behind the counter is actually a friend of Kat's, and I was talking to her. And at the end of the night, she said that whole day she didn't even have a chance to really go to the bathroom. Like the stuff was flying off the shelves, it was packed nonstop. Like people came, they wanted to support, and people were spending money too. And the Cosmos did a really good thing. They brought in some trucks with Cuban food. They got all the ethnicities in New York involved. And I heard a rumor, and I got to go find it, that there was even a pie shop, some kind of a pie truck. So maybe at halftime you could go get a pie. Yeah, right. I was like, now that's pretty proper. And there was definitely a lot of excitement, and just a buzz in the air. And then we got into our section. We started singing. And we have there's another group called La Banda that's actually brings more of a South American style support. And we've been working with them for the past few months to, all right, we're going to get up there, we're going to have a few capos up there, and we're going to mix on and off, a couple of Spanish songs, a couple of English songs. And we were trying, it was sloppy, of course, it's our first game, but we're building that, where you had, I'll tell you, even the South American fans do love Just Can't Get Enough. They wanted to sing it the whole game. But, it was just jumping, dancing, singing, the buzz, from the moment they brought Pele on the field, there was just this excitement. And when that team came out of the tunnel, you just felt that the whole place was really excited. But the loudest I heard the stadium was when they scored the winner in injury time. And, I rewatched the game on television, and it really was loud. And the fans, by the end of the night, and you watch the highlights, fans would jump in they were really into it. And the game was sloppy. It was the first game of the season. Both teams, a new team versus the Strikers, who just have a new coach. So the game wasn't the prettiest of matches by a long shot, but it just... I think by the end of the day, I think the atmosphere, hopefully my section helped build, that fans really started to fall in love with it. And I knew this was going to happen, but I walked out, went back to the pub, had some drinks. I woke up Sunday morning, and the first thing I was doing was, all right, let me get the preview. I'm looking forward to the next match. All right, we got Tampa Bay next weekend. All right, they just scored 7 goals last night. Is this going to be and you just really, it was unreal because for that moment, for the second you started watching the game to after it, you realize this is our club. This is what we wanted. This is what we got, and we're not playing very well right now, and I'm getting a little upset about it.
See, when you mentioned on Sunday night, there was supporters group, the East River Pirates were there, obviously, the St. Pauli boys, and you said there was a West Ham supporters group there as well. I mean, what is the sort of time frame for games for the Cosmos? How much would that be, the guys coming out to sort of experience that opening day for the Cosmos? I mean, are the Cosmos going to clash, for example, with Man United fans wanting to watch Man United in a bar?
Not at all. All our games are at 6, 7 p.m. locally.
Perfect.
There's one game at the end of the year, which is at 4 p.m. on a Sunday evening. But the good thing about over here is when you watch the EPL, SVL, by 12:31 the matches are pretty much over. Maybe the late match is still going on, but for the most part, you're not going to clash. It's actually pretty good because, especially if say United has the game that starts at 12:30 here. It ends at 2:30. You have a few pops. Maybe you go over to Long Island Railroad and continue the day and just go watch another game.
Perfect.
But it won't clash.
Yeah.
And I talked to a lot of the West Ham guys. They have season tickets. They're ready to go. They're going to have season tickets. And the other thing is, like you mentioned, the Pele, the Brazilian, they brought Marco Senna in. There were a couple of South American supporters clubs there from Brazil. Atletico Mineiro had a couple of fans there. Absolutely beautiful, beautiful fans. I'll add that. I mean, Jesus.
Playing Brazil. You've got another Brazilian playing.
Yeah.
Reverse.
Yeah. Yeah, Reversio. Well, he didn't play last week. He's having visa issues. We're kind of hoping we get him this week because I think him and Mendez.
He's in Guantanamo.
What happened?
He's in Guantanamo.
Yeah. Oh, jeez. Yeah, no, I don't know. I just read today that he might get clearance to play this weekend, which would be nice because we need some help in the back line. But Atletico Mineiro brought some of their fans from the US, from New York out. Like I said, they were beautiful, but they were there with their flair, their flavor, and you know, hey, the game-winning goal was scored by an Italian. Maybe a couple of the Italian Americans around here start going out to games to cheer him on. I know he's turned into one of my favorites, you know. So, but I don't know. We'll see. Definitely not going to clash with any of the South American games. Maybe the South American games are more, you know, in time on our time zone. But for the European fans, there shouldn't be an issue.
I mean, to me, that's perfect evening sort of games. It's the same as what we've done here in Ireland. When they went to summer football, they moved all the football to a Friday night. So fans weren't sitting in the pub watching Liverpool and Man United and all that kind of stuff. Get them on a Friday night. And I think that's important that it doesn't clash. Do you know what I mean? Because there is a massive, massive fan base for soccer in New York City. I mean, we spoke about it many a time. It was Ecuador at City Field, and the tickets sold out in half an hour or something like that, was it?
Yep.
I mean,
it's a huge fan base, and it just they don't get engaged with local soccer. They don't, you know.
You've got to get them on board. You've got to get these guys, man.
That's it. You got to get them. You got to give them something they relate to, and this Cosmos logo, people are relating to it. If they're not relating to it, they want to see it. I mean, it's kind of history. Everybody's read the stories of the old Cosmos. Well, look, they're not the same team. Obviously, there's no Pele. There's no, you know, we're not going to sign Messi. We're not going to sign, you know, maybe even a, you know, middle-sized player. We're going to sign some decent names that may be a little older, looking for one last run out.
Paddy McCall.
Yeah, don't sell me, boy. But yeah, no, it's not going to be the same Cosmos right now. But you know, to go out there and see the fabled jerseys, it's worth it, and it's something you could get behind. And you just go home and watch the documentary once in a lifetime, and you're like, all right, I'm a New Yorker. This is part of our history.
Can I ask you, Nicky, if you don't mind me asking, how much is a season ticket for the Cosmos, or how much is a general ticket? Because as we know, you're competing with, there's a lot of spots in New York. You're basically, if you count the New Jersey teams, you're talking about 2 baseball teams, 2 basketball tems, 3 ice hockey teams. You've got the Red Bulls playing in New Jersey. You've got 2 American football teams. I mean, how much is it going to cost somebody to go and see the New York Cosmos?
You know, they have a lot of different price points. For the supporters section, you know, first of all, they broke it up into two ways you could do it. You could buy, just because we do a fall and spring season, so you could just buy the fall season, or you could buy what's called Club 71, and that includes this fall season and all of 2014. Right, so that's this fall season and spring and fall season of 2014, and it was different price points. So, like for the supporters section, for this year and next year was only $260 for the seat. Per seat, you know, if you want to do just the fall season, it was less than $100. So that you could get in for a very reasonable price.
So how many games is that? Like, I mean, break it down to how much it costs to get into a game.
About $10 a game.
And you can't argue with that, like.
Bang on, isn't it?
Yeah, no, I would say $10, maybe $12 a game. It's not bad at all. They do have, like, because it's a bleacher seating in the stadium, but there's a small section with backs, and of course they're going to get their money out of them, and that's like $700 for the fall season, $2,000 if you want for this and next year. But with that club seat, they have a specialized club in the I think the administrative building of Hofstra, where I think they serve food and drinks, and it might be included. I don't know. I never heard those details. But I mean, they range. I mean, you know, it's not that bad. It's very expensive. You know, for the supporter section or the end lines, it's $260, and you'll get every game this year and next year. I mean, that's and they had a payment plan of like 10 months.
Brilliant. I mean, I'm kind of gutted. Obviously I'm going to be over there in 3 weeks' time for 10 days, and I'm not going to get to see the Cosmos. I'm kind of gutted. Now, obviously, the only day they're playing at home is that day. I've got the executive box at the Mets game. I'm really kind of gutted I'm not going to get out to see the Cosmos.
Well, you'll have plenty of opportunity, though.
I'm planning on being there shortly anyway. I'll be selling programs under the name of, I don't know, I'm not with this name anyway. So, I mean, I don't know, we're an hour in, that kind of brings us up to date. I don't know, Scott, if you've got any further questions noted down in front of you that you want to hit Nicky with, that you think your listeners would...
Just the last one that I had, and again it comes down to your man Seamus O'Brien, the chairman. Mm-hmm. The interview I was reading, he's involved in a media channel called One World Sports, and I'm led to believe they carry the games.
Yes.
So what's the script there? I'm on the website, but my computer's going really slow. But
so we'd be able to see the games here? You mean like we could buy someone to...
I don't know, this is what I'm trying to find out. Mm-hmm. He was asked about it, and he says, well, we've got the games on World Sports Live. Yep. And I was saying, and then it says, he was basically going, it's just a new channel, but ESPN, I remember when ESPN was just a wee channel, so I really don't know what's the script, so any information on that?
It's a newer channel. World Sports Group is based out of Asia, I think. You know, so they do a lot of work with the Asian sports, etc. So they cover right now a lot of like Asian football. You know, I've seen highlights of the Tokyo Giants, the baseball team. You know, but I think they'll eventually try to get more leagues on their channel. You know, similar to what beIN Sport has become here, which is a Middle Eastern channel that really has put a lot of money into it and now has the rights for many leagues. So. But they took on the Cosmos, and that could be because, like you said, I think Seamus might have a say in it. Actually, funny story, when I was walking to the pub after hanging up the banners in the section, I saw Seamus speaking to someone from One World Sports. And, you know, it was definitely a personal conversation. I didn't want to interrupt them. But so he definitely has a hand in that, and that probably helped. They're covering all the home games, but One World Sports has, if you go to their website, has a live feed, and you can watch online. At least in the United States, I imagine you can. So I think you could watch the games live on there. If not, the NASL streams all their games.
I know, so I heard the rumour there's ways of making your computer think it's in America, even if you're in Ireland. I heard a rumour about that.
I don't think such things exist. I don't know.
I wouldn't know anything about that. I wouldn't know anything about how to get Celtic TV and pretend I'm in New York or anything like that, so... I heard the rumour.
I mean, what would you even call that? Like what, hidemyass.com or something like that? Like, what would you even call that?
Unblockusus.com or something, I don't know. VPN, something like that, I don't know.
But actually, another funny story that I think you'll appreciate more about Seamus is I heard a rumor that his secretary, that if it's a Monday morning and Celtic didn't win, you can't even speak to her.
Right.
God bless him.
Apparently, I've heard that his secretary is a massive Celtic supporter. That's the rumor I heard. I've yet to meet her to ask her, but yeah. But he's. I've talked to him a couple of times, and what I really like about Seamus is just he's straight to the point, business. And he said from the first time I ever spoke to him when he came public and be in the chair, he went out of his way to call me from London. The poor guy was all over the place. You could tell he was just exhausted. And he just straight out told me, he goes, this, what I say is going to happen. I won't say anything unless it's going to happen. He goes, the way I do business is I get results. And, you know, all right, show me what you got. And I sat there at the Fly Emirates press conference with Pele. You know, I sat there Saturday as they actually took the field and played a game. And they saw Nike. So he definitely gets things done. And I know a lot of people around the front office have a great deal of respect for him and the way he's going about his business. So, no complaints. I watched the live game.
So if he gets the stuff done, what is next? What is the future for the New York Cosmos? What is the hopes and aspirations of the club and also the Borough Boys?
Well, I want everybody. I want New York to be green and white. I really do.
Yes.
You know, the Borough Boys are just going to try to keep building a culture, and you know, we're just going to try to get everybody obsessed with the green and white and let them realize, like, this is your team, this is your history. We once controlled this town, and we want to control it again.
Is there a lot of interest for the Celtic supporters groups in New York? I mean, there is.
Oh,
four.
no, I think Big Tommy already told me that a bunch of them are coming out to the games.
Yeah.
They're planning a bus trip out to one of the games.
I saw something on the Jack Dempsey's. Is there a lot of boys leaving for the Jack Dempsey's?
Yep, yeah, we ran a bus out of Jack Dempsey's on Saturday. Yeah, so Jack Dempsey's is behind us. They hosted a lot of the events for the Cosmos. But as for the Cosmos themselves, their next big step is that approval. If they get that stadium, the whole game changes, and a lot is going to open up, and you can hear a lot of talk about, well, why aren't the Cosmos in MLS now? Because Don Garber is telling every other market that wants it, and you need a stadium plan. Meanwhile, then in New York, you would have a team that's going to play in a baseball stadium while a team is sitting over there with the stadium plan. And it's going to put a lot of pressure on a lot of people. So the big thing for them is the stadium situation. And if they don't get that stadium, they need a plan B because they're not surviving in Hofstra. Yes, they drew 11,000 people the other day. But what's going to happen on August 24th? A lot of people are saying at least half of that, because it's not the easiest place to get to. So they still have a lot of work to do to make sure people are getting out to the games this year, but a lot also rides on the stadium plan before they can think long term.
Mm-hmm. I think that sort of brings us right up to date. I mean, Nick, people who are listening to this, how can they... I mean, we will have Americans. I know you're going to share this as well on your Facebook groups and that. I mean, how can people get involved with the Borough Boys? How can they find out what's happening with the Cosmos? I mean, what's the websites to visit, the Facebook groups, Twitter, anything like that? For any, let's not kid ourselves on. The majority of the guys they've got to be Celtic fans, but there is a big interest. And let's be honest, New York is one of the main cities people go and visit. So if you're going out to New York, get in contact with the Borough Boys. Jack Dempsey is going to be running buses out to the games. So, I mean, Nicky, who do you contact? Who do you see? Where do you go to find out all this stuff? Because Celtic fans have got an interest. That's undoubtedly.
Well, first and foremost, I mean, nycosmos.com is the official link for the club. You definitely want to stop there to get your tickets or your gear. But yeah, Borough Boys are on Facebook. I think it's Borough Boys Supporters Club or Borough Boys NYC on Facebook. We have boroughboysnyc.com is our website, and we are on Twitter, borough_boys. So you can follow us on one of those channels. But for news on the team and everything, I mean, there's a lot of sites in New York, but one site, it's called thisiscosmoscountry.com. That's been a project of a couple of us on the side of the Borough Boys to try to. What we wanted is in Harper, you would know, similar to like a Mets blog. We want a site that pretty much brings all the news for this team together, and then we add our own features like video. We opened up Borough Boys TV. We're going to have videos for that, and we're going to do interviews and pre-match analysis, post-match analysis on thisiscosmoscountry.com. So you definitely want to hit that URL, and there's a message forum there with the Borough Boys on it. You can speak to some of the fans. So that site, hopefully, over the next couple of years, we build that up to be the main place that Cosmos fans go to. But check out thisiscosmoscountry.com. Check out boroughboysnyc.com for more information on us. And in terms of like being a member, if you wear the green and white of New York City, you're a member. That's it. We don't charge membership. We're going to take donations to maybe build some TIFO. We need money to operate. We know that, but we don't want to alienate. We don't want to say, well, if you don't pay us, you're not a member. That's not what this is about. This is about a football club, not about a social club. And we want everybody who supports that team to be one of us and be a part of that family that is the New York Cosmos and obviously the Borough Boys. So no membership, just get in touch with us. If you're a Cosmos fan, you're one of us. And that's just it.
Sounds good, man. So listen, Celtic fans, you're listening to this. You're visiting New York City. Get in contact with the boys. Go and have a great day out. The boys are saying $10, $15 for a ticket. There's a bar beside the stadium. Go and have a great day out in New York City. Wear your Celtic jersey. New York's green and white. You know what I mean? Scott, anything you want to add, man?
No, that's all bang on to me.
Perfect. Well, Nick, great catching up with you again. Great getting the Cosmos story. You brought us right up to date. And all I can say is, man, I'll see you in about 19 days.
Oh, yes, you will. We'll be ready. We got a lot planned.
Sounds good, comrade. Right, New York's green and white, man.
Yep.
Hail, hail.
Hail, hail.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Many years since I was here on the street, I'm just passing my time away. To the left and to the right, a town of stone rose to the sky, and it's out of sight in a faded light. Here I am again in the city with a fistful of dollars, and baby, you better believe I'm back in New York. I'm back in New York. I'm back in New York. I'm back in the New York groove. In the back of a Cadillac, with a lady by my side, tell you where I'll be.
Stop the third and 43, dancing to the night. It's gonna be ecstasy.
This day was made for me.